with everything you said there, someone who was working indies, was pulled off shit, wasn't allowed to be on TV, and when he was, it seemed like he was really just phoning it in over there in AEW. And a guy who has been affected with the Iron Fist would be one of the Lucha brothers, Penta El Zero Miedo, and his brother, of course, Rey Fenix.
Yeah.
So at the time of recording this, yesterday was Raw on Netflix Part 2. I was, of course, streaming live for that. And Penta, they're just calling him Penta, former AEW star who got shelved in favor of, CMLL guys that nobody really knows. Here in America, let's be honest, man. I know Dave Meltzer. This is the thing, right? I've been chronicling this, and you guys know how I like to parade my flutes around for Dave. And Dave Meltzer is on this thing about, well, CMLL brings in the most casuals. They do the best at retaining casuals, and most people are American tourists that come in, and he doesn't understand. Yeah, it's because they're tourists and they want to watch some lucha while they're in Mexico. Dave, Jesus Christ, leave your paper-ridden bedroom. But he's got this idea, and so he's telling this to Tony. I know it, because why else would Tony sign a contract where people like Ray and Penta can't be used on TV if CMLL guys are there? So the last we saw Penta, he's like trading destroyers with Cassidy and stuff, and people are like, he doesn't even sell, blah, blah, blah. He comes into WWE. He has, for me, last night, he botched one move springboarding off the bottom rope there a little bit, but he cleaned it up nicely. And also, those are ropes. They're not the cable. I'm sure Apollo, you could talk to that. And he probably wasn't used to hitting the ropes like that to do a springboard the first time. I think every luchas, even Ray's talked about how it's just different.
And the radical difference in ring size. Dude, let me tell you, the WWE ring is the biggest ring out there, and those extra 2 feet, that's like running a 5K. And finding out that when you finally got your 5K, there was another 2K to
go. So he came in, he's in great shape, great crowd pop. They give him the flamethrowers, the music hits, he hits his entrance perfect. As he walks down the ring, Penta's feeling himself, man. It's like Ray said it as well. So Netflix in Canada, during the commercials, they're like playing promos and people are cutting promos. And Ray was saying to Kathy Kelly during the commercial, he's like, Penta was made for WWE. I've been saying this for a long time. And he was feeling himself. He's coming down the aisle. He's doing his little strut, and his tongue's out, and he's hitting his Zero Miedo, and he's doing a good job of getting that over. He worked a great match with good psychology. He sold his leg off. They did a destroyer where I thought that could have been the finish, and then they ended up, I thought it could have been the finish. I was like, hey, that would have been a good spot, but they didn't like overdo it. It's not like they hit 12 more finishes and then they just went into like he hit the Penta driver and it's done. But even as he's like cutting his promo and talking to the fans, he's selling his legs so much that, dirt sheets are like, he actually wasn't injured. And one thing I will say is WWE now, we've come full circle. Like now we're arguing if injuries are real or not. Like WWE doing such a good job of protecting the business in that way and like helping to bring kayfabe back a little bit. But yeah, he was obviously just selling, and really he proved. I mean, a lot of people said that about Motor City Machine Guns. They're not going to sell and all this, and Penta's not going to sell. And then these guys come in and they're some of the best. Like to me, Motor City, what's getting them over for me is like how good Alex Shelley's selling his ass off every match. And then Penta sold his legs so well. We got dirt sheets writing about if he's actually injured or not. Like, come on, guys. He fucking worked the ankle. It was Chad Gable. Like, he worked the leg. Like, man.
What minor Achilles injury.
But I mean, this was an
$11.99.
Yeah. This was an A+ debut for me. And him just really showing like, no, he was ready for the big time. And he probably has been for a while. And again, just showing that Tony Khan letting another guy just slip through his fingers, that this is what fans wanted. We wanted to see Penta be presented like this. We've seen him as a world champion in almost every other company before AEW. And I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be a world champion in WWE, but a US champion, an intercontinental, a tag champion. I mean, that's for surely in his future. And just what were your thoughts on this whole debut? I mean, it's breaking the internet. Everyone loved it. I
loved it, man. It was perfect. It was perfect. It was everything it needed to be. I loved Penta and Lucha Underground. I thought he was dope in Lucha Underground. Well, let's be honest. One, well, CML. Well, we're mad at Conan, right? So we're mad at Conan. So we're not going to
hold on a second. Conan, I got it on the soundboard. Sorry, go ahead.
So we're not going to work with anybody else. So all those guys get to go sit home. We got CML. I'm a tourist, and I see live pro wrestling Lucha Libre sign for $5. Of course, I'm going. I need something to do before I go eat.
Exactly. It's got air conditioning, and it's fucking hot.
I'm over hot ass Mexico. So I'm off the resort. I need something to do.
They got Corona in there.
I need to go someplace I know I'm not going to get killed. So let me go chill out wrestling, right? It's easy. It's different. But I used to scream all the time. If you are a younger kid who's like at that next level, and you have to decide if you want to go to AEW, TNA, or if you're lucky, NXT. If you are choosing AEW, you have to be. I don't know if we can say this, but you're a little retarded. The AEW is where AEW is where a talent's equity goes to die. You are not going to increase your name value. You're going to lose it. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who, however you feel about that form of lucha wrestling or not, this dude is over. He has a special kind of look. He's very intense. His matches are exciting. And you mean to tell me you couldn't leverage this guy? You couldn't have him chasing singles? I know everybody loves him with his brother and all, but like, just look at this guy. First of all, I knew they wanted to sign him because you can print out 4 million Penta action figures.
Yes,
and just changing the color scheme alone, right?
Yeah.
Like how much money did they make off his mask last night? I saw.
Oh my god, bro! And how genius was it for them to go? Penta's here. Here's all his merch right before Raw starts.
And then you got some internet doing. Look at WWE ruining the prize. I'm like, how? Did they post the end of the match? No. Like this is marketing 101. Yeah. Like Hey, by the way, hey, this dude has masks and shirts on for sale. So after you see his awesome entrance and you decide you want it, the impulse buy is ready for you. I wonder how much money they made off of this dude last night.
Yeah, man. And Michael Cole said it on commentary. He's like the worst kept secret in the business. So he just leans into it. And then it pops all of us. And we're like, exactly. We knew it was him. And he just gets this big single run before his brother comes in. And this is better for Penta too. He gets his single run before he gets to be in a tag. That's better than him coming in as a tag with his brother.
Dude, that's it. Because this dude's going to get over. He's going to listen. Depending on where I'm sure he's going to be on Raw. Because Raw's going to need the star power. But can you imagine seeing this dude with Nakamura? With the way Nakamura is working, he had a banger with Gable. You're gonna see, what else are we gonna see him? Well, you'll see him wrestle Jey Uso. He's gonna have it's the match combinations are just almost endless. And then, if he is at some point in time, because they all hit that spot where it's like, okay, we don't have enough room to bump you up to whatever spot you're gonna go to just yet. So you kind of start to cool off a little bit, right? Like LA Knight. So while we're waiting to make room for you. But guess what? His storyline's already built because when that's going to happen, his brother should be available. So what happens? Now he's getting his ass kicked every week because he's one man against whoever it's going to be against. And obviously now his brother debuts. And him and his brother go to kick a bunch of ass and win the tag titles. And then they can go their different ways, right? You opened up a mint. You opened up the mint. And they have licensed printing on money with this guy. Listen, I laugh. Even Vince wouldn't have messed this up. As a matter of fact, the only thing I said that Vince probably would have done different is Gable and Penta would not have gone as long as they did. The match probably would have been about 6 minutes shorter because Vince would have wanted Penta to go over a little bit stronger versus the appetite of your wrestling fan is we want to see more wrestling.
Yes. And he would have had a mouthpiece, and people were asking me on the live, they're like, Phil, who would you have, should Zelina Vega talk for him? And I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe Jose the assistant or someone, and then boom, he grabs the mic and he just ripped the promo in English and on Espanol, and they're global now, so it's just smart to do that, and they're in San Jose. The crowd reacted more for the Spanish than they did for anything else that he was saying, so And then you see people in the crowd who already have his masks who are probably lapsed AEW fans, because now we're in that era where we got lapsed AEW fans who are like, this, I'm going to watch WWE.
Yep.
You know, so
yep. So that's it. So like, it was perfect, man. You could not have asked for a better debut. The sky's the limit for this guy. It's just it's just with the WWE, it's the same. It's always the same issue. It's just a matter of how long can they keep momentum, and can they keep their head about them when they don't have it, because the pendulum always swings back the other way for them. It's just a really big company. But here's the other cool thing now too. Because they are global and they have embraced being global and they do work with other companies, when they go cold, guess what? We're still going to keep you alive versus the old days where you just sat at home. What happened? Nakamura went cold. We sent them overseas. We let them rock out in Japan.
Yep.
It's got guys. There's so many more opportunities for folks. It's a good time to be a WWE fan, because you're getting to see the rest of the wrestling world in a way that younger fans of the WWE would have never, ever gotten. It took them buying the damn company for them to even acknowledge that WCW existed. When they were going head to head every week. So now you live in a space where you're talking about pro wrestling Noah. You're talking about going over to Mexico. You're talking about ICW, all these little small indies, in Europe. You're getting exposure in the way that no one would have ever thought possible of coming through the WWE lens. Versus on the other side, where AEW should have been able to fill again the ECW void, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heyman did a fantastic job of working in the Mexican luchas and the Japanese wrestlers, and even weaving them into storylines, and leveraging the big American like a Mike Awesome. Have them come and just be an assassin. He's only around for 3 or 4 matches, and he's gone for 8 months. I don't know, man. Like, I gotta just look at Okada, man. Like, Okada was one of the biggest free agents, and again, dude, I get it, man. If I understand it. I will never forget, Nakamura's response. Right, Okada debuts on Dynamite, and Nakamura just puts out a bunch of question marks and goes, "Why?"
Come on now, Eric. Come on now, Nakamura. That's not very fair. To do your boy like that.
But on the side, like, I like Okada's going. This money mark is going to give me $7 jillion.
Yeah.
And all I have to do is not get injured, and I'm still under 35 when my contract ends. So I'm in that WWE sweet spot, where
and that's what I say about MJF. It's like, bro, he's doing the best thing for his career. I don't care if people say he fizzled out, because that guy can always turn it on. He doesn't have to go to WWE and do the same thing he's doing now. And the whole thing is this: he's making millions, and while he's like making an imprint in Hollywood and stuff like that before he even gets to WWE. So
the other thing with MJF, man, MJF needs to be challenged. He needs to be with someone who's going to take him to another level, and it's not there right now. So like, it's one of those things where it's like, right, well, you know why he didn't get signed? He wanted this outlandishly large contract that got laughed out of the building. So that, brother, well, you sniffed your own farts. You got humbled. You crawled back. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to maximize your time there? Right now, I'm not seeing it. I've seen him cut the same promo, drop the same insider terms, get unnecessarily personal. And I was like, all right, brother, we did this already. And guess what? 2 weeks ago, Triple H dropped almost every insider term imaginable in a promo, and then was like, ooh, what are you going to do? Get mad about it? Which means dropping insider terms and promos, officially not cool anymore.
Yeah, dude. It's just like, okay, we did it,
Yep. That's it. So it's like, all right. It's like finding out that I don't know. It's like finding out that your father is in the thing that you're into. That you think is cool. All right, well, if my parents are doing it, then this shit probably isn't as cool as I think it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, now what, bro? Now what? Because I need to see something from you. And that's the only thing that sucks about him still staying there is You chose, instead of really actually betting on yourself and saying, let me go be a big fish in the biggest lake that feeds into the biggest river that dumps me into the biggest ocean imaginable. I stayed here to be the biggest fish in the smallest pond imaginable. And I think he's going to suffer for it, but it's still early. We'll see. But it's like, what's really left for him? He's going to, if he maybe Edge can pull something. I'm sorry, Cope. Maybe Cope can pull something out of him. Maybe Christian can pull something out of him, depending which way on how they want to go with it. But outside of that, I mean, Jarrett can probably get some good promos out of him. Maybe. I wasn't thrilled with what they did last week. I thought it was kind of a waste of time.
Yeah.
But and again, talk about like we wasted all that effort on Jarrett. Like you want to tell this Terry Funk story, but like, bro. When Jarrett was in the Owen Hart Cup, the only guy who actually knew Owen Hart on the roster, he should have won the damn thing.
Yep.
Instead, you gave it to the soy cowboy and did nothing with it. I burned someone's house down. I'm badass. All right, whatever. It's like, all right, and now he's like, well, I want to be world champion. How would you like? First of all, what happened to Lethal?
Yeah.
Where's Lethal? And then it's like, all right, so what? We're gonna see Jeff every 4 weeks. So for someone's gonna be like, oh wait, we are doing this story. That's right. And then what? Jeff's gonna have like 4 matches. They go, well, you got to put your career on the line.
Yeah,
it's like, come on, dude. Like you maybe get the story out of the WWE once every 10 years, right? That's just because it's the natural ebb and flow of cyclical storytelling.
Yeah.
But you by the time it pops up again, it's earned the ability to be there versus just kind of doing it. AEW is stuck in the perpetual of wouldn't it be cool if. And I'm too incompetent or ignorant to know how to tell this story, so because I've never told the story in my life. So like that's what you get with the booking. You get these two things that collide. You're like, what the did I just watch last week? like first, I tried watching the feed on Max. I'm like, let me give it a shot here. The feed was so terrible. It was frozen every 40 seconds. It was frozen. That's the fuck. I would jump back on TBS, and then they legitimately did the same segment 7 segments in a row. But like, how many times can a guy run in on a match?
That's what it is. Even especially the women's match. I've pointed it out. The women's segment. Sorry, I pointed out so many times. It's just woman cuts promo, woman returns or runs out. Woman wins match, woman returns or runs out. Woman debuts, woman comes out or runs out or whatever. It's the same thing every time.
And I'm like, so I'm like, listen, Omega, like, what would probably pop them a rating? In all honesty. Because first of all, the Kenny Omega promo that closed out the show was dumb.
Yeah,
that should have been the week before a sit down conversation with JR to get everybody hyped up for Kenny Omega's return. Jim, you know what? Next week I'm returning to blah 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 for Dynamite.
Yes.
Boom. All right, now the next line is, well, Kenny Omega's here. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Have him open up the show. Have him get his hands on Callis. Let everybody do their dumb run-ins. And then make the match. And then he main events and closes out the match.
Yeah.
And then you can have someone run around and then have Ospreay make the save. Now Ospreay's back. Instead of doing the way we did it, you bored the shit out of everybody. You did the same run and you did 15 times already this night. Yeah. And then you had the guy who, bro, I'm here for cheese and crackers and crumpets.
Bro, we restore the feeling, bro.
For the feeling, bro. Like, what fucking feeling are you even talking about? The show's been dog shit for 4.5 years.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Well, speaking of feeling, I got a couple headlines. Well, first off, let me get your thoughts. They're running back Kenny Omega versus Okada. I mean, this is 10 years passe, bro, and they want to run it back, man. Tony Khan wants to run it back. You know what they say as well, right? Like, how the old saying goes,
best guys, Tony Khan.
But as Meltzer would say, but what are your thoughts on them running this match that happened 10 years ago that was good, and now it's just like, why are you? And same with like when he ran back Ricochet Ospreay, it was just a shell of its old. This is going to be the same.
It was a shell of itself. First of all, where was the build? There's no build to this. So if you want to do it, why is he messing with Callis? I get it. There was kind of a story there, but it wasn't enough of a story. The last time we saw him, didn't the Young Bucks beat him up? Like, so we should have kicked things off. The really, let's be honest, if we were going to do it the way they did it last week, the encounter should have been Omega, Omega and the Bucks and Okada in the ring, and then as Omega is dressing the Bucks for turning on him, Okada steps in the way and is like, well, okay, let's do this, and at least now you own it, like it's your thing, as opposed to the desperation play of trying to grab some of the nostalgia berries. Oh, remember when they did that thing 10 years ago? Oh, that was cool. Like, get the fucking like, no, it's passe. But it's like, if I don't listen, I don't understand how you can do something for 5 years and manage to learn nothing. I don't get it. I don't get it. By accident, this show should be better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You think they would have slipped onto something? Well, here, I mean, he's just the king of fumbles. That's what Tony Khan does. He fumbles Wardlow. He fumbles. Here's the thing. Before I get you out of here, though, speaking of fumbles, we were talking about before. He fumbled Penta, and there's just a couple headlines that came out that the dirt sheets are running with that I did want your thoughts on. You know what I mean? And so you think again, you have Penta there. You think you'd let him do his thing, maybe, or I don't know. You'd have somebody who you'd listen to that was like, hey, this guy was a world champion and everyone loves him. Let's sell a billion masks. But no, you just leave it for WWE to show you. They're literally teaching Tony Khan lessons how to book these guys, man. How to book Lexus King, how to book Ethan Page, how to book Penta. It's hilarious. But leave it to the dirt sheet geeks to come out and I guess come out with a story that just cannot be true, no matter what. So PW Insider reports after Raw, they say that rather some talents backstage at Raw were not thrilled as the Penta vs. Gable match combined with Penta's post-match promo went way longer than initially planned, which led to time being cut from other segments later in the show. It was also noted that Penta wasn't injured during the match and was just selling his leg. And listen, I'm not like a PW Insider hater. I mean, they're probably the most accurate dirt sheet out there if you really think about it. But why would they? Fire! That's all. No, someone probably stooged them wrong because the show was only 2.5 hours and Triple H said it's lucid, so they can go 3:10, they can go 3, they can go 2:45, they can go 2:10, they can go 2:30, just whatever. They got it worked out with, as long as they get all the ads in that they promised. I'm sure they're allowed to go as long as they want. So clearly this isn't true, but already the stories, there's heat on Penta. It's like, come the fuck on.
Well, who's sitting backstage right now who doesn't have to do, who's jealous? Of course they knew he was going to grab the mic. He had his entire family in the front row. Yeah. His crying daughter. Like, of course, the guy was going to grab the microphone. He is in an area that is as close to being his hometown as can be possible. It is a major deal. It's a major big deal. A WWE debut, on Raw and pay-per-view are as big as it gets. So of course, you're going to give the guy a minute to say what he's going to say, right? Because what's her name would not have been in the ring if they didn't expect him to speak. So, right. What are you talking about? That match didn't go long, or maybe it went a little longer, but that was already accounted for. Yeah. And again, like I said, Raw is the format is fluid. They can go as long or short as they want. I would say I was very happy if the show was only 2.5 hours because I was not looking forward to making it to 11. But but like, hey, it was like the perfect amount of time. So I don't believe that is someone, if they either pulled this out of thin air, or rather someone fed them a lineup. Especially totally with he was selling is like, listen, the WWE refs, which again it's. Ref Jess versus Ref Aubrey, just for the direct comparison. the way they account themselves in their matches, one is a show and the other is a masterclass. The WWE refs, and I say this because people don't understand, refs, the mindset of a ref is such that they have to know more about what's happening in match than the wrestlers.
Yep.
You have to be able to predict what's going on. Sometimes, like WWE used to not give the refs the finish. They stopped doing it. I don't know if they probably give it to them now, but there have been times where the referees had no idea what was going to happen. They knew as much as you and I did.
Yep.
So the refs have to be able to pay attention to what the talent's doing, know where they have to be standing, knowing how they're going to have to react so they get out of the way so they're not in the way. They have to be hyper aware with cameras, and they also have to be hyper aware of what the crowd is responding to. Because if your match is going sideways, the ref is going to need to go, you're losing them, do X, Y, Z. WWE refs, because they have the earpieces, they have to be listening to the real-time feedback coming from someone in the back. There's a lot that they have to be able to do, that they have to be able to master. So a referees are some of the hardest working people that you see doing what they got to do on TV. That ref, I love that ref just in general because he's just all over the place. But he was on it. He was on it. So. Like he, anytime we let, hey, everybody, just make, because listen, Pentagon, my man, when I can't remember when he one of the times we won they hit. They like it reminded me of watching Nitro. Like they collided. It wasn't.
It was when Penta did the over the top rope flip, man, because he just splatted on the ground, collided with Gable, and then he was smiling after too. And the ref was all on that, dude. It was really good. And what a tremendous match. But there's no way, if they ended at 2.5 hours, there's no way he went much longer than they expected, because otherwise they would have just went 2 hours and 40 minutes or 2 hours. You're right. So there's no way that this is actually true. And I don't know why this would come out. And I wonder if like WWE, because we know that they kind of got rid of the stooges there, and you notice how much better the WWE product's been. And I wonder if they float out there to drum up heat, because now everyone's going to talk, oh, has Penta got heat on him? Does he have heat? And then next week we're curious,
Well, it's the poo-poo on your parade effect, right? Because Melts, not so much PW Insider, but like all the Observer, the Observer UK and all those drone sites.
Yeah.
Well, Dave Meltzer said so. Like they're all going to spit out the same story. So fine, maybe WWE puts out a bogus story, or they float something to someone to see who's going to say what. Because that's what they do. They may, someone may go, oh, this fucking guy, walking from one room to another room, say it loud enough to know who, so someone hears it. They know, all right, there's only 4 people in that room right now. So we know that one of these 4 people in this room is a rat.
Yeah. They did that recently. They did that not too long ago, I believe. That was the rumors floating around. So
let this guy have his moment. It was an awesome moment. It was, dude, you get a moment like that and it's in front of your family. That is like, if Penta has the career that we all think he can have, that's how his Blu-ray or Peacock special opens up.
Yeah,
him putting that promo with a shot of his daughter crying in the audience, and now on to the rest of the story.
Yeah, it was such an incredible debut, and his daughter crying was so impactful, and the crowd popping for him speaking in Spanish was so impactful, and I was marking out so hard. It was so weird seeing him in a WWE ring, but he fit right in. He knew where to be. He looks to be in great shape. He sold his ass off, and that was the biggest criticism people had of him. Oh, he's not going to sell. Boom, he sold his ass off. Here's Alfred Konuwa, Forbes writer, that AEW used to quote when they were smashing NXT, that they now hate on and don't want to quote ever, because now he just says what the truth is, and he always has, and the truth is only okay when it favors AEW. But anyways, here's his reaction to the debut of Penta, and I always like to react to his stuff, and I'll get your reaction to his stuff, I guess, too.
Penta debuted with WWE, and he's already a bigger star than he ever was in AEW, and worth more money. WWE didn't even front like he wasn't coming. They rolled out Penta's merch hours before his arrival, masks and all. The same masks Tony Khan and AEW decided not to sell. Why? Because these are the same geniuses who run the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why not?
Fucking Jaguars taking shots lately too from everybody, man.
Pentagon debut got kids crying in the front row. Wow, so this is what a sold-out hard cam side looks like? Me hearing Penta cut a fire promo in Spanish and listening for the word hermano. Oh snap, that's my tweet. Get it, Alfie? Penta won and Michael Cole made things official by saying, a fresh coat of Penta.
Yeah, dude, welcome to the big time. And also Cole was like, he's one of the biggest free agents ever. And he also said he's one of the most, like, some people consider Ray the best, like the most famous luchador on the planet and the best in the planet. Well, like Ray and others consider Penta to be the best, like, kept secret, the best luchador that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they just drove that home. And it's not about how many times you say it like Excalibur and he will, like, it's about the way you say it and when you say it and who's saying it and stuff like that. So again, just an amazing debut, you know?
Yep, bro, effing awesome, man. Yeah, it's like you said, it's, I can tell you I'm a star, so I'm blue in the face. The WWE shows you that this person's a star, and then they explain why you are feeling like this person's a star. Like it's, you know, again, I've said it, you don't get a better debut than that. The pyro was cool. The swagger down the ring was cool. The match was fire. The merch is dope. It does not get better than this. It doesn't get better than this.
Yep.